For this, the first thing that we need is a complete honesty with ourselves. It's a complete honesty that is, you can't lie to yourself. We all have an opinion of ourselves. And that opinion doesn't fit our behavior, our internal behavior, and therefore will not fit our external behavior. So the honesty is to make them fit. Okay? I will say, well, I'm a good person. And yet I'll turn around and do something to my fellow man that's not so good. Someone once asked me what I want on my tombstone. The old joke, pepperoni or sausage, okay. My response was, he was just a man. Not a good man or a bad man, just a man. The judgment of the kind of person that we are. We don't need to carry that judgment. We need to be honest that we are just people. And when we are honest that we are just people, we treat others differently. We treat them differently because we realize that the same thing that is in them is in us. The same behaviors, to plus or minus degrees. That is how we can be compassionate toward others. Now that may not mean I want to hang out with you. Because there's some parts of me I wouldn't want to hang out with if that was the only part that was showing. It'd be like, nah. We don't have to be really close in order to understand each other and not do things that are detrimental to each other. But as the individual, as the center of the universe, and each of us is really the center of the universe. We have many centers. We are the only universe. So as that, I must recognize, where's Kevin? Okay. I'm sorry about that. We have a center missing. When I feel sorry for myself, my universe is out of balance. And I can't feel for the rest of the universe. Because my universe is out of balance. But when I am in balance, when I understand what is within me and what is happening within me, I can understand what is happening within you or within anyone else. And treat them as I treat myself. If you look around, you don't see that. What you see is many pretenders to who they are. And everybody has a guard to defend that idea of themselves. And in having that defense, everyone else comes too close, and then I have to do something really stupid. Okay? I have to bullshit about who I am or what it is that I am. I have to protect this. To protect what? From whom? We're all the same person. So what am I protecting? So the protection is thought to be something good, when in reality it is not. When you build fences to keep others out, the other side of that is it keeps you in. Freedom. Freedom is the ability to have choice. Freedom is to come from your natural self. Your natural self, not the pretend self, not the personality, but your natural being. Not from the self that I make up in my mind, but from what is left when I scrape away my mind and become comfortable with who it is that I am. Then I don't have to be rude. I don't have to be a jerk. I don't have to try to do this or that or the other. I'm just in it and I'm doing it, whatever it is that I'm doing, comfortably. When we come to understand this, we can all work together to create something that is better than where we are, that is better than where we start from. I would hope that when we come together in a place like this, with obviously a common goal, which is ourselves, that we will learn to work together. I hope. But then again, maybe not. It is up to each individual as the center of the universe to do that thing that enables the whole to rise. When we are feeling sorry for ourselves, or we're carrying things back from our childhood and we're like this, we're not doing what is good for ourselves. And then how can we do things that are good for the whole? Because we're not being honest. And we're going to conflict. Everyone here, I would hope, is on the trip to peace, harmony, understanding. But if you really watch, the trip to peace, harmony, and understanding only leads to conflict, it seems. What it teaches us is to let go. Just let go. Be present now. Now, this is not going to be absolutely pure in the, quote, world, because not everybody is on your trip. The world is not on your trip, trust me. Look. Look at it. Okay. It's not on your trip. In most of the world, or those positions of power, or those climbing to power or seeking power, it's about money. It's not about people. It's not about you. It's about power, money. Okay? They don't want to hear some flowery rhetoric about love, joy, and peace. They go, yeah, right. So you have to learn how to manipulate, navigate, within that reality also, and yet not be affected by it. If you have the desire to make the whole world right, you're just going to pay. It is me. It is I. Either of you. You have to maintain. No, that's not a good choice of words. Well, let's back up and let's just say, when you come to that space that is truly you, you don't worry about maintaining because it can never be contaminated again. It can't be. So you do what you need to do in order to help it rise. And you're not caught up in the desire to change the world. You're doing what you do, and by your doing what you do, that changes the world. If you're looking at a goal, this is what I want for the world. Well, you're not looking at the reality of what's in front of you. It's an organic process. It's organic. It's not in stone how you get there. It gets there by the interaction between you and whoever is there, and you take as much as they give. There's an old saying in football, you take what the defense allows you to have. When everybody's backed up, and they've got 9 guys in the defensive backfield, you don't try to throw long passes. They're giving you short passes and they're giving you short runs. So you just keep taking it, inching it down the field. And finally, there's no more field left. You're in the end zone. This is how it is best done. So, when you find yourself disappointed, the feeling inside, you find yourself upset because that goal that you set has not been met, no, you're not coming from your center. Because if you're coming from your center, you're not worried about that. Okay. You have to get first and 10s before you get touchdowns. How do you get them? A little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. How do you get first and 10s? 1 yard, 5 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards. This is how.
Sometimes you even lose a couple.
Yeah, sometimes you even lose a couple. But you still have to be present. What you really are has to be present. This is not what you really are. All the things that you think, they're not what you really are. What you think is merely a tool that has gotten out of control. You have to think about it and use what you have to achieve what you want. You have to come from that center that is love. Because if you come from that center that is anything else, you have just contaminated what you're trying to do. You contaminated it with your own stuff. It has to be objective. Now I'm not saying go home and just stop doing anything because you're not completely objective. Well, it's called a process. process from one thing, proceeds from one thing to the next, to the next. But give your best effort. But give your best effort at understanding you. And be honest. I am gentle. I'm kind. If circumstances don't call for otherwise. But if they call otherwise, then my cape comes on and my teeth drop down and be prepared to have your blood sucked. This is within me. It's there within all of us, but it's just a tiny speck. If someone says to me, well, Ananda, is that loving, what you just said? I said, well, yeah. To love life. And when life and love is present, the love of a good fight is all right too. Because if you don't, all that's left is the other side. All that is left is the other side. Love. You have to love what is physical. It's just that at this moment, the physical mind outweighs the spiritual being. The physical mind outweighs the spiritual being and causes misery. It can't help it.
Isn't that why we're here? To sort of figure out that's not the way to go?
Yes. But to bring balance to creation. To bring love.
Because if you didn't have the pain, there would be no gain.
There would be no gain.
No motivation to change anything.
That's right. The pain must be there in order to make us change. Take the next step. And the pain will always be there. You will always have pain. It will just be in perspective. Always. In physical form. Physically, you will have it. It has a different ring when it's in spiritual form. It has a different feel to it. And that is why I've encouraged you to understand the feeling. Let the feeling run pure. It's not what you have to say about the feeling. Just feel it. You will understand the purity of it, the message that is pure and simple, what it is, simply what it is, by feeling it. But when you deny that you feel these things, you can never understand them. You can never understand what you deny. I have a lot of fun with my culture. When I say my culture, that is Southern black male out of the South, sunshine, talking slow, talking crap. I enjoy that. And I enjoy it. I do not feel bad about it. I know many people do about themselves and about that. Mark and I know a woman who sings the blues with proper English. It doesn't work. Oh, I have the blues. I think Mark played with her, and her mother owns a restaurant on the south side. It doesn't work like that. Because, and see, that is not understanding that all culture is the same. You speak American. It is a devised thing. Language is a devised thing. It has its rules. It is consistent so that you can understand. I say we speak American because we don't speak English. The English speak English. If you are ever in England, you will have a hard time in the beginning understanding what is being said to you. What? And they look at you like, what? Because the languages are cousins. They're not the same. It is the same with me as a Southern black male. We had a way of speaking, everybody understood the fluidity of the language. If you're outside of that language, you don't understand the fluidity of it, or how it moved from one thing to another, how it moved from what's happening to sup, how that moved to what's up, yeah? To sup. Oh my God, they're just ignorant. No, you just don't understand. So once we all come to the point where we understand, it's language. It speaks to experiences. All. So the way you describe an experience and someone else describes an experience, someone else describes an experience. If you look at certain languages, the verb precedes the noun. Certain languages, the noun precedes the verb. It's just language and the way it was devised to communicate within its group.
Is language a way of describing a perception?
It, honestly, at its base, is a way of describing physical reality.
Okay.
Try as we may, we cannot describe a perception because it has no physical signpost. We kind of indicate, and it's the other person draws a conclusion, which when you talk about that, even when you talk about physical things, we can only agree on a very small percentage of that thing we see. We think we agree on everything we see. Oh yes, but we don't see it the same. We only see a very small portion. You see a very small portion of this cup. Very small portion.
There's more there that we don't see?
Yes. Now, see, I'm going to say this to you, and I'm going to say this in this manner. I'm going to ask a question. I don't mean it to put you down,
Okay.
but I mean it simply to ask and answer a question. What do you think it means when I talked about the atoms and molecules move in and out of time and space, and there's a line? That's what it means.
That's what that means, okay.
Okay, so in doing this and studying your tapes and listening, you have to put this stuff together because that's a part of the exercise that stretches your mind. You have to put this together. Something I've kind of struggled with for years when I was teaching. What is the better way to teach? Do you tell them everything? And have them repeat it back to you like parrots? Then you have taught nothing. You have parrots running around talking about things they don't know. But when you give them pieces, and they have to arrive at conclusions from the pieces, they have activated the process. And as you come further and further along this line with this, it's kind of like a funnel. You start down here with putting these pieces together, and as we go along, I add the pieces in bigger and bigger areas with bigger and bigger gaps. And then I have to stand back, and it will become very painful because it rips you a new one. It will rip you one, boy. And you have to have the sight, your desire to know must be incredibly powerful in order to put it together, because that's what you're there for. Because, as I've said to you, and this is something you have to hear, I've said it way back, it's going to destroy everything. 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 Okay. Once everything is gone, you can put it together. You can now deal with it. Well, let's put it like this. The world is, in a sense, a paradox. You must love. But it must be true and honest love. Because if it's not, you will allow people to get away with crap they shouldn't be allowed to get away with. Okay? You can't do that. You must be objective in teaching. What is the point? The point is to teach. Here you go. Now, if I have to break your face, I'll break it. Because that is the most loving thing to do. You must understand. When I say you are God, I'm not joking. I mean it. And what can God tolerate? I want you to think about that. You're talking about God, the big G, the original OG. Okay. You're talking about, you think of this kind of power. So anything that you can come up with is trivial in terms of learning who you are. Everything comes down on you, and if you are small, you cannot bear the load. When you know who you are, you can bear any load, and that load expands you and lets you know more of your strength and of your power. Then when you go back to doing what you do it objectively. You're looking at it without personal input. What does it take to make this work? And making it work is the objective, right? Making it work. Got into a discussion in psychology class once when they talked about fighters, boxers, martial artists are angry people. And it's like, no, some of them are, but they're not real successful. To be the best at that, there's no anger. That person over there is just a target. Just a target. That's all. That's all. No animosity. Because what you have to do is hit the target. That's what you have to do. Otherwise, they're looking at you that way. You know, you can be the hammer or the nail. It's up to you. And they go, oh my God, but that's so cruel. No. It's, if you're going to do it, if you're there for it, then be the best that you can be at it. Okay? Be the best that you can be. If I want to help you, I have to tell you the truth. If it hurts your feelings, then you have to deal with your hurt feelings. You, because that's what this is about. You have to look at it and say, well, wait a minute, why are my feelings hurt? You see, I don't have any axe to grind with anyone. I don't. I don't hold anything against anybody. Why? For the very reason I said earlier. I know what's in here. I know what I see. I know what I see. Okay? I understand. I understand how a person can be hateful. I understand how they can be mean-spirited. At the same time, I understand how they can be loving and kind and gentle. I understand. That doesn't mean I'm going to let you do that hateful thing to me. But I understand. So what we're talking about is what happens inside of you. Yes, Paul?
When we're hateful, hurtful to other people, to ourselves, first and foremost, there's nothing more to that except that we're just confused about dealing with our pain, basically.
Yes. Yes. You've been hurt, and at some point you decided no one's going to do that to me again, so you buck up. You're insecure. You don't feel worthy. You feel...
But all those are motivated by being hurt and wanting to protect yourself from going that place again instead of doing what you always say, do the technique and let it go through with you, trying to push it out instead of letting it go through you.
Exactly. Exactly. That is why. And that is why all of that must be understood and let go. In order, I'm not talking about in order for the world to come to order.
It's your world that you're worried about.
It's your world, that's right. It's your peace, yes.
Well, what if you're not protecting yourself from getting hurt? What if you let it happen and then just deal with it how it comes?
That's a good thing.
Okay.
Because ultimately you understand some things that people don't understand. You understand ultimately that you're hurt by what you think about what happened. Not what they did, but your idea about it. All right? This makes us grow into godliness. We don't want to accept ourselves as God with all the power of God and all the knowledge of God because we don't want to be hurt.
Comes back down to detachment, doesn't it? Again?
Yes. Real detachment, which means real process. Not pretending, but real process. Till you come to that point, you go, it's okay. And what you feel inside is a soft, smooth love. A small, That's small love. Kind of like chicken fat, you know. They call it smolts? Smolts. Well, same thing. Okay, and you operate from that basis. And you see the world from that basis.
And isn't that heaven?
That's heaven. That's, take off the H, add the L. Leaven.
Yeah.
Leaven, to rise, to expand. That's what happens, and that is the gift that we have within us. That's what happens when you really begin to understand why you hurt. Then you can help other people because you understand why they hurt. I understand why you hurt. Because I've hurt. I mean, really, really hurt. I know what it's like to be absolutely alone. In that time in that military hospital, I was absolutely alone. Absolutely. I didn't get visitors. I didn't get anything. I was just there. Nothing. The only thing I had to look forward to was Captain Tequila. She would come in the morning. She was a nurse, and she would stand in front of the window and raise the blinds, and the sun would shine through that white dress, and she'd say, "Good morning, fella." Go, "Yeah, good morning."
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, that's right. Whatever it takes, in feeling the feelings that are in you and using those feelings to create something new within yourself, or to move past, allow that energy to move you past. I know what it's like to be alone. I know what it's like to be lonely. But I know the truth about being alone. You are alone. Do you realize that being alone is the reason for this entire universe? Look at the wonders that has come about because God was alone. I need me some partners. Huh? Some peace, yeah. Get me some of this mud here, but first I gotta make me some mud. There we go, there you go, little fella. All right. But that pure energy has a bent. If you don't understand, if you feel sorry for yourself, you feel small, you feel helpless, you are lonely. But when you feel alone, that energy gives you the power to grow and to change. Yes, ma'am.
Now, what you just said about the loneliness of God,
Mm-hmm.
so can we take that to the next step and say, we're only here for God to understand that you're lonely no matter what happens?
You can say that, yes. I would say the aloneness of God versus the loneliness of God.
Right. But I mean, that's the only reason we're created, so God can figure out that, it doesn't matter.
Yes, we are instruments of God, yes, for everything. We are instruments. This is how it moves.
So we shouldn't take it so personally.
Thank you. Taking it personally is just the choice of a small, I don't mean this in a hurtful way, but a narrow-minded way. Okay, I don't mean to call you narrow-minded, but I do. But I don't mean the...
Well, we are.
But I don't mean the negative narrow-minded. I just mean narrow-minded. Okay. And see, these are the things that we have to see and admit to ourselves that we are.
Well, that's the honesty you're talking about.
That's the honesty, yes. And that's basically what I'm trying to get across here this whole day. The honesty of looking at oneself and how that honesty translates into looking at others and how that translates into the movement of the whole thing. That honesty about it. And see, it's about honesty inside. It's not about honesty, quote, honesty outside. That doesn't mean I have to go through the world wearing iron boots, tromping all over everybody else's feelings just because I'm being honest. That's not what that means. It means be honest in here. And when I look at others, I find a way to deal with that and to get that point across to them without my iron boots, if allowed to. Sometimes I only got a minute to go, asshole! I only got a quick second. Calling your attention to your behavior. So, but everything, once you come to that place, everything is done out, it's not done in the same way, it's not done with the same anger. It's not done with anger, it's not done with hostility. It's done with energy, and pure energy, and simple energy. You know, I know that the people who loved me as a child, they didn't agree with what I was growing to be. I know that. And as I grew to be a man, or I grew to be an adult, they still wanted to tell me how to be. I understand. Because I have old offspring. See, I don't say I have children anymore. They're too old to be children. I have old offspring. It took a long time to stop going, I wouldn't do that. Now I just give the look. Lips pursed. Oh, Daddy so-and-so. Really? Well, what did you learn? That's the old people. Okay. I'm not doing what my parents did to me. Even they must be understood. There's a guy who owned, there's a bar over here on Lincoln, I forget its name. It's been there for years and years and years. We were talking one night. There aren't any kids here, right? Well, this was years ago. We were talking one night over drinks. John Barleycorn. That's the name of the bar. And he was so upset with his father. And finally I said to him, I said, you know, your father wanted you to be a better man than he. He says, yeah. I said, he succeeded. Love your father. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know if it was the drink talking, but he got the idea. He got the idea. Force of habit. Does anybody know what the most used word in the 60s and 70s was?
Ear.
Ear. No, ear. Ear. The point of that was that his father succeeded in doing what he wanted to do. He didn't agree because he didn't know, he didn't come out of he didn't grow past his limitations. But he gave his son the ability to move past. Our fathers, our mothers must be honored for that. Okay? We honor them for that. That doesn't mean we're going to get along. They may not get along with me, but I'll get along with them because I don't care about what they're saying. And when I say I don't care about what they're saying, I don't care because I understand, not I don't care because I don't care.
You don't take it personally.
Right. It's not personal. It's them doing what they do. So every person, everyone, we understand their situation. I understand the racist situation. I understand. I understand people who don't feel good about themselves looking for somebody to step on. I understand because I stepped on a lot of people because I didn't feel good about myself. I understand, but that doesn't mean I'm going to let you step on me. Let's not get bent out of shape over this now, because it's like, I understand. Now back up. Yes.
Yeah, I can't lie very well, and I was attacked by my brother and my mom this weekend because I didn't not say something about my uncle's girlfriend losing her job and needing insurance. And my brother said, "Shame on you for bringing that up. That was a secret I told you."
Okay.
And my mom said, my brother told me, and I told you, and I can't believe you told. And I just said, you know what? Shame on you for yelling at me. And shame on you for telling him, and shame on your brother for telling you. I said, I'm not buying into this. I'm done talking about it. I'm going to bed.
Okay.
And it's like, I just get frustrated.
You learned something. Here's what I've learned. I don't say a lot. Hey, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? Do you know that blah? Wow. Gonna eat that last piece of pie? What I'm saying is you come to this point where you understand the dynamics. You come to a point where it doesn't bother you to be outside the dynamics, but yet to be within the space. You don't care. It's meaningless. See, something like that is meaningless to me. I get people who want to talk to me all the time about stuff like that. And
You're not invested.
no, I got nothing to say. You tell me everything you want to tell me until I say, well, okay, your time is up. I'll see ya. But that comes once you come to that place inside. And one of the things I have learned is that people are not going to understand where I'm coming from. I like to joke. I like to tell jokes. I like to not only tell stupid little jokes, but I like to, what do you call it when you tell a story?
Oh.
I like to do that. I like to make fun of situations because what is funniest to me is making fun of something that ain't funny.
That's what humor is.
That's what humor is. See, I like to do that. And I figure if you've known me for 10, 20, 30 years, you know this. So why do you get upset when I say something? Instead of I'm trying to pull that laughter out of you. God damn it, laugh. Oh, thank you. See, that was one of those situations. That's funny. Laugh. You know, that thing is, there will be peace in the world if I have to kill everybody in the world. That's not meant. So what I've learned is, let's say it in here. And and go ahead. Because I'm not going to be understood. So I've become more and more quiet. Not quiet, just I recognize what I see. I don't know what to say. You see, even God has its limitations. God doesn't know what to say to stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. So how can you expect to get smart out of stupid? You can't.
But he knows what not to say.
Knows what not to say. So. Yes. Really. Well, gotta go now. You learn. That is the process. It doesn't matter who. It's not about who. It's about what. Your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your child, your lover, your husband, your wife, whomever. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. Okay, so it doesn't matter what I'm saying to you. It doesn't matter who. We all know this. You know this since you were a child. Your parents are stupid. Not really, but your parents, you always knew more than your parents, right? Okay, even when they don't know what they're talking about. Fire isn't hot. You're right. But that perception is a mother. That it's hot. So you come to a point where you understand each individual, because you understand the individual within you. There are all these individuals in you, and that is all the ideas in you. Then there is the source, which is greater than all of it and contains all of it. You become the source, but you are able to recognize the individuals. And it's like, okay. All right. Fine. I'm not going to create any issue. Any issue that is created, you will do on your own. I'm not in it. I'm not going to play. Now, you heard what I just said. Now hear this part of it. Don't try to pretend to be that, because you'll only build tension and stress inside. Do the work that you need to do so that you really understand that. And there's no effort to doing that. There's no effort.
There's no
Effort.
effort.
Yeah, in just,
That's technique.
yeah. Do the technique to understand what's happening. Remember, it's all about you. All about you. The pain is all about you. The pain is your pain. The pain is your pain. And how you have made this twist in the flow of energy to create that pain. So you untwist that. And you understand that energy from its natural flow. You understand how Aloneness you've twisted it to become loneliness. So you untwist it and you're alone. And being alone is okay. It's okay. Because, and you've heard this all your life, there is only one God. What does that mean? He's out there by himself. Ain't nobody to talk to. Hello, other gods. Oh, there's nobody home.
They don't have telephones.
See, and all of creation is a form of masturbation. That's what it is, playing with yourself. And it's okay, it's pretty good, actually. We did a pretty good job. But you have to understand that. You understand, it changes everything. It's when we don't understand. When we don't understand. Not understanding is when the racist talks to me. And I look at them and say, you don't talk to me that way. Talk to me as though I'm a human being. That's not understanding. Understanding is, talk to me as though you are a human being. That's understanding. Because now it's back on you. You're the idiot. I'm just a guy passing through. I just happen to look like I look. I don't know what I look like. It's kind of hard to tell. Because I don't know. You may know what you look like. I don't know. I may look any way at any moment. It's like I said about my dress. When I was teaching school, I showed up one day in a three-piece suit, and the man on the elevator that I taught classes with didn't even know who I was. And I said, hey, John, how are you? And he looked at me and he almost had a stroke. He turned totally white because I had been wearing orange robes. One of the things, I wore orange robes and bright yellow gym shoes. One day I showed up in a suit. It's like, oh my God. It probably was one of the most frightening things he had ever seen. But this is what I mean. I don't know. I don't know. And what's more, I don't really care. Because if you can't take me for the content of my character, I don't want to be bothered with you. Because you bring a bunch of crap, I'm not going to deal with it. Here you come with this bag like Santa Claus. You got a bag of crap. And here you come, want to lay it at my doorsteps. Well, hey, okay, I love you and all that, but it's like my grandmother used to say to me, I'd be raising hell outside, and she said, son, you can come in, but that garbage got to stay outside. Same thing. It's like, no. I'll talk to you, I'll be with you. But when you start laying all that at my doorstep, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Well, why can't we be closer? Because you got a bag of crap. And we're not taking crap anymore. We're not playing with that anymore. I played with that when I was 4 years old. Okay? We have the right to make a decision about how we want to live our lives. Remember, if you bring lion tamers into your life, pretty soon lions will follow. Pretty soon you wake up one morning to the smell of this foul breath.
teeth.
It's like, whoa. But that's okay, if that's what you want. And you make that conscious decision to have it, it's okay. It's all right with me. It's all right with the world. It's just from the base from which I exist. No. I'm doing something else. So, I don't know what I look like. I'm kind of opaque. Today I'm like this. I present you with this. Tomorrow I present you with this. Wait a minute. I'll change. Okay, what do you want? To say that it's all okay. I go back to what I said about language. Doesn't matter. English, French, American, German, Southern black male from Mississippi. It's all okay. What we have to do is not say mine is right. What we have to do is say, I don't understand. Let me hear. Please, I didn't understand. The limitation is mine, so please explain to me what you mean. Okay? Please explain to me what you say. Gangster talk. Well, you see, so and so and gangster clap a lot. I don't know. There's a tribe in Africa that clicks a lot. There's a part of the language. I have to say, explain, tell me what you mean. I don't know. It's my limitation. See, when we do this, we begin to understand each other. Language is language is language is language, and that's what I'm saying to you. It's all okay. We have to understand. I wear many hats. Many hats. It's okay. Because all of the hats exist within the framework of God. They exist. I'm not trying to eliminate anything. You must be inclusive as opposed to exclusive. Whoa. Whoa. Include, not exclude. That's been a part of our problem. I'm going to exclude you, and I'm going to exclude you, and I'm going to exclude you. Pretty soon, there's nobody left but me. And I've got all the money. I've got all of everything. Take the time. I'm going to say this as delicately as I can. In order to hear what's being said, to hear what is being said. When I have an idea that I understand what you're saying, I don't have to listen to you. Anytime this is going on, I don't get it. Attention, focus. What have you done in your life? What incident have you been so focused? You enjoyed it. It was just this most wonderful thing that you were doing. The rest of the world didn't exist. Nothing else existed. Think about that. That's focus. That's focus. When you're there, you're present. I remember playing a football game once, and there was this loud noise, pow! And I said to my buddy, "What was that?" He said, "It was a gun. The gun went off." The game is over. The game is over. We just started. He said, no. Well, who won? And he looked at me. He said, we did. And I said, what was the score? He said, 54-0. Really? Yeah. I was so focused in doing what I was supposed to do that nothing else counted. Winning didn't count. Losing didn't count. I was so focused in now. And I think we were all that focused. That's why the score was 54-0. We were all focused in what we should have been doing, in doing our job. And the joy of that and the feeling of that moment of being full and being just absorbed. This is the way we live. We should live. Whatever we have chosen to do, what we must choose to do is to focus that much on being open, being wide, being focused into all the things going on around us. There's a joy. That same joy that you experienced as a little child when you were playing with something and lost in it. It's that same. It's the same thing. And things just happen. They just happen. I could sit down, I'd have something in my mind and I could sit down and figure it out and do it. And it's like everything would just be there. The picture was there, the whole picture, and I would do it, and by the end of it, it would have been accomplished. And it's like it just came out of nowhere. Part of our problem is we want to know that we're doing it. Therefore, we interfere with this. This is why this.
Now, what you just explained, isn't that precisely what our mind was designed to do as opposed to what we use it to do it?
Exactly. It is out of control. It is out of control.
And that's all there is. There's nothing else for the mind to do except focus.
Except focus. Take the information that it has and use that information to complete something. But it has taken over. It has decided, it knows what we are. It has decided this, that, and the other, and it constantly runs off.
So where is the division between what, not the division, the line, between what you just said, the purpose of, the intended purpose of the mind and the ego then?
Well, the intended purpose is about factual things. Because we live in a world that seems to be divided. Okay, seems to be. Seems we have some of this, some of this, some of this, some of this. Spirit, or in consciousness, is the focus. And when we become focused from consciousness, we don't have time for the opinions of the mind.
And this division is an opinion, the seeming of division is an opinion.
Yes. So once we focus, there is no opinion. It's like if you have this, and you have this, and you see it fits together like this. There's no opinion.
So what the score of the football game was, that was an opinion.
That was an opinion. It was secondary to what I was there for. And that's what I said, what I meant when I talked to you earlier about you just do and everything comes together. Everything comes together. When you just are there without that ultimate goal, as you completely do your job in this situation, that all builds and the outcome is the goal. But you can't be thinking about the goal as you're going along.
That's the old saying, the longest journey starts with the first step.
With the first step. If you are thinking about the goal as you go along, the minute the other side, whatever that other side is, has a success, what do?
You have an opinion.
Yeah. Oh my God, we screwed it. No. You're not, okay, that happened, okay. Now I got to do this, this, and this, okay, and focus. It's not on whether you're good or bad at what you do, whether you're going to succeed or fail at what you do. It's now focus on what you are doing. The end result is success. It's like if you're a fighter. You can't focus on winning. You can't, we were going to win. What does that mean? You have to focus on knocking his butt out. And that doesn't mean the words of knocking his butt out. You have to focus. You see, jaw, fist. It happens so quickly, you can't help but succeed. Success is a result of doing. Without all of this. So it's focus. Focus on that one step at a time. The result is succeeding. That's the way it is. I'll talk about being ill. Was ill been ill for a long time. But in this last bout, I couldn't function in certain ways. Couldn't function to sometimes even make a phone call. Couldn't function even to write a check. Okay. Well, we're not going to give up. Let's just focus on this energy. Let's just focus. Suddenly one day, after a year or two, my weight I was getting bigger and bigger, and I was getting weaker and weaker. I felt like a turtle. I fell going up some steps one day and fell on my back, and I couldn't turn over. I felt like this turtle. All right. One day, after a couple of days, I recognized that there was a period during the day when I felt pretty good. So I would struggle to put on my gym clothes, and I'd sit there and I'd wait till that moment came. Go to the gym. Okay, and do my little workout, go back home, and well, that moment kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. Now I'm at the gym every day. For a limited amount of time. But my point is, the point is the experience that I'm trying to share with you. If you're living in this moment, you recognize the gift of that moment, and in that moment you do what you need to do. Things slowly begin to change.
Not only the moment where you're at the gym, but also the moment before where you get ready to take advantage of the moment.
Yes. Yes. I realized I couldn't go naked because the cops would probably stop me on the street before I got to the gym. So it's like, all right, okay. All right, okay. Yeah, we got it. All right, now let's wait. Just recognize your moments. Live in your moments. Be aware in your moments. What we focus on generally is this. You know, you're sitting around thinking, I need something to do. I need to do something to do, something to do, something to do. Yeah, there's something to do. Shut up. Be quiet.
That's enough.
That's enough. That's right. Let the spirit speak. Speak, spirit. Said Bullwinkle. You did watch Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh yeah.
Right.
My favorite.
Squirrel and moose. Let the spirits speak. Be quiet. When you must be doing something, you're listening to this. It's like working out. There are people who work out, and all of a sudden, they began getting weaker. The muscles become softer. Say, but I'm working out 6 hours a day. That's because you're supposed to balance it with rest. You work out, you rest, because the muscle needs time to regenerate. It regenerates, you become stronger. You don't, you kill it. So when you, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Shh, be quiet. Become stronger. It's an interesting thing happening. I don't really feel much better, but I'm strong enough to take that not feeling good and go where I need to go. I'm strong enough. That part of me that's ill is still ill. We have to understand this moment. Take advantage of this moment. Do what you need to do in this moment. And sometimes what you need to do in this moment, watch a dumb TV show. I don't care. Whatever, just relax. It's okay. It's okay. Be honest inside. It's okay. If you still have this thing about good and bad, that you are good and bad, I'll say no. You're just a person. Don't feel bad about what you are. Be okay with what you are. Understand who you are, and those things will not have a hold on you. They only have a hold on you. You ever try to stop smoking? And the moment you say, I'm not going to smoke anymore, what happens? You got to have a cigarette. You see, that's not the way. Okay? You accept, I'm a smoker. Okay. You will decide less and less to smoke, if that's what you want. One day you wake up and it's like, I don't want that. Then there's no fight, there's no struggle. When you say, I'm going to not do this, what do you set up? Struggle. struggle.
You're focusing on what you don't want to do, but you're still focusing on it.
Right. I'm not going to smoke. But this last one. Years and years ago, I used to be stoned out of my mind every day. And one morning I woke up. I was like, I don't want to do this. Not, I don't want to do this. The feeling wasn't there. Because I accepted the fact. You're a junkie. Yeah, I guess I am. No more. No more. That doesn't mean that from time to time it wouldn't be, wow. But there was like, You say no by saying yes. Because first things first, to deal with the mechanism within yourself. And how do you deal with the mechanism within yourself? Not by resisting it, but by accepting this is the fact. This is the truth, the fact. This is the truth. But you really must want to achieve it. Really wanting to achieve it means without force, but a focus. What happens when you want that to commit that act or that cigarette or whatever it is, you focus on that feeling that's, oh God, I gotta, rather than focusing in that place that doesn't want to. And how do we get to that place? Technique. That's why you have that technique to let that energy move. That's why you have it. Let it move, and then the space grows larger and larger, just like my space of going to the gym. It gets larger and larger. My doctor said to me, oh, you're back. Yeah. Well, what are you lifting? And I told him, and he said, I don't understand why a man your age would want to lift that kind of weight. Get you some little bitty weight and do that. I'm saying, listen, weakling, doctor.
Dr. Weekly.
I went back, and this is where my body took me. It just did it. It just said, oh, God. A 40-pound curl? Jesus Christ. I went in there one day and I did 150 reps. It's like, wait a minute, hold it. Hold it. This is not work. This is not going to do anything. Not because I wanted to lift more, but because in order to get the use out of it, to feel something out of it, it had to be more. It had to be more. So there's a difference in the ego-driven trip, and I understand that's where he was coming from. But I understand he's got arms about this big, okay? And he's a little smart guy, okay? He's not very big. So what else would he say? And the other thing I wanted to say, what do you mean, my age? What's wrong with my age? Who says that a person my age can't do that? I can do anything you can do, and most things better. But yes, doctor. But you took that window and let it take you where it takes you. Let it take you where it takes you. It's okay. You'll wake up and you'll be home. You'll be there. That's what's important. That's what's important. But now recognize and accept the fact of what is happening in you at any given moment. When it doesn't feel good, you don't have to know the specific incident that happened back when you were 3 years old. All you need to do is let the energy move. That will answer the question of how you feel. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. If you were at Custer's last stand and you got an arrow in the back, you don't need to know the history of the arrow. You don't need to know what the Indian ate that morning before he shot you with the arrow. What you want is the arrow out of your back. You take the arrow out, you begin to heal. That's what you want to do.
When we do technique, is there a burning of karma aspect to the technique? Where you're actually, I mean, karma is what goes around comes around, simply, but with the technique, when you relax that, you let that energy go through, you're sort of like, it's a shortcut to that. Like you don't have to, my dad used to say when your ear scratched, you itch it like this, or you go like this. You go like that,
Yeah, it changes the whole karmic thing, okay? First of all, there's always going to be karma in terms of the world, okay?
Right.
What I'm saying is right now...
In our personal world, we can...
Yeah. There are still people who are afraid of me. They have no reason to be now.
In their opinion, they do.
Yeah. So what I did way back then is still around. I'll say, hey, how are you? And they go, okay. And it's okay. That's a part of the karma.
Well, there's still people the earth think the earth is flat.
Right. So, but in terms of who you are, that short circuits that whole thing. And they're going to bring to the game whatever they bring to it. But at the same time, you will be okay.
That's not yours.
It's not mine. But it will interact with you.
But that's just an opportunity to let that go.
Let it go. Let them go.
I mean, that is just like another opportunity to have another recognition. I mean, you won't have that recognition if you don't have that challenge in front of you.
That's right. That's right.
So it's not a bad thing at all.
It's not a bad thing. Right. It's always, cause and effect is always going to be in effect.
Right.
Okay. Amanda?
Oh, I was just thinking, like, if you don't choose to take that course, I mean, it's like one or the other. So if you're not using your technique, you're just prolonging the inevitable anyways.
There you go. That's absolutely right. You're prolonging the inevitable. Right. Exactly. And that is why our lives continue to suck. Because we continue to do sucky things. It's okay. Come to the truth of love by loving yourself. Stop judging other people, morally judging them.
If you're judging other people, aren't you just judging yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, you are judging yourself. Let it go. It's okay. Just live. Live your life. That doesn't mean you can't tell a joke about what people do or stuff like that. I joke about what people do all the time. I go, look at, gee, what? There's a guy. Then I'm going to let you go. This guy captured 5 women. had them chained in his basement. One of them decided to go, I'm going on a hunger strike, I'm not gonna. He chained her with her hands to the pipe, and so she was standing on her tippy toes. She still refused to eat. She died. He came and got her body, took her upstairs, cooked her, chopped her up, put her in the pot so that till the flesh came off the bones, made pate, and fed her to the other girls. One woman who saved all of them decided, she set up a plan. I'm going to gain this guy's confidence. I'm going to make him believe that I believe in everything he does. Then finally she said, you know, I haven't seen my family in a long time. I would like to see them. And could I go and see them? And he said, of course. And he took her and he dropped her off at the service station a couple of blocks from the house.
He was bright.
Real bright, right? So she goes and calls the cops. And he was angry with her. This is insanity. He was angry with her because she, what do you call it? Betrayed him. You see, this is madness. And we have varying degrees of that within ourselves. Varying degrees of that. And we have to accept that. We have to accept that. The cops went to the house because the neighborhood was smelling really bad. The cops went to the house because neighbors called, rang the doorbell. This is before she turned him in. He didn't answer. Cop went around back. He finally came to the door, and his neighbor was outside. He said, did the mail come today? And she said, no, but what is that smell? He said, oh, I'm cooking a pot roast, and I burned it. Cops went away. They weren't paying attention. Now, if the smell permeates the entire neighborhood and it's foul, how can you just walk away? You're not paying attention. You're not paying attention to what's there. Now, this happened months before this woman devised this plan. And even when she called the cops and they came, they wouldn't believe her. Till she pulled up her pants leg and showed the chafing from the chains. Well, maybe she's telling the truth. Maybe. We don't pay attention. We don't pay attention. This falls on us. We don't pay attention because we've got something else going on in here. You all know me. I tell jokes. I got yucks, okay? It is to elicit from you an automatic chuckle. In their design, it makes you think for a moment and then you go, ah, ha, 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 ha. This is what I see for the most part, okay? Sometimes we're creating that. No, you have to look. This is what teaching is about. This is what making something happen. This is what making that mind expansion happen. Well, you pay attention to what happened. I'm not just telling jokes. Trust me, almost everything is with a plan. Trust me on that. There are no throwaways. No. No throwaways. I want that joke to hit you. I want it to hit you. To go, oh, to hit you. That way you've got to see. See, what does it mean? I used to say when I taught martial arts, this is a question. What do you do with a question? Answer it. When it's right here, you better answer it. Answer the question. Answer by observation. When this is coming at you, about 80, 90 miles an hour, and it's traveling 4 feet, you better answer the question now. You better get your mind out of the way, because by the time you get through saying, oh my, there's a punch coming at me, it's sticking out of the other side of your head. It's a quickness in the seeing and acting. This is life. You have to see it. Now, the only way you see it is by seeing you first. I don't mean in that moment, I mean to be prepared before you get there. Now it's your time to be for preparation. See it. Let what I do with us show you something. Let it, wow. Wow. I mean, it's not up to me to say right or wrong to you. It's not mine to judge you, right or wrong. It's only mine to say, do this so that you understand yourself. In the annals of time, or in the annals of karma, what you get is what you put in. It's the bank of karma.
And karma is related to time and space.
Yes. That's all I can say to you. You will find out, and how you deal with it is on you. And I'd like to thank you for your time. You have a good one.